What's going on, guys? Welcome to Living with the Grain. I'm Jared, and I actually want to start with a question. How do you dream big? For me, that's been a discovery process over these last 2 weeks. I really never felt or understood how to dream big, and I kind of realized that actually a long time ago. It was more of the concept of I could never be specific enough. So my problem wasn't dreaming big, it was being able to dream big, but be specific about the details. Like, what do I project myself like? What kind of person do I have to become? What's the income like? What's the house I live in or the lifestyle I live? I've never, up until this point, been able to define any of those. It's taken me a long time, especially after 2 decades of self-development and a lot of work with other people to start being able to answer that question. And I think maybe the thing is I took it more seriously when it was asked this time of what does your lifestyle look like? And the only thing I can really think that has changed for me is where I'm at in life. Like my age, I'm starting to feel I don't have many times to start over anymore from job to job. I want to live a certain way that I could do paycheck to paycheck, but I don't want to. And I'm sure a lot of us don't. So what is dreaming big for you guys, and how do you get there? Like, I would love to just kind of hear feedback right off the bat of what the process that you guys have to share to others. I said I've done a lot of things, going back to I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I really did not like that question. I didn't understand the challenge of the question at the time. And again, I think being from a small town, my limitations of mental explorations of what was out there was much more limited. That's really kind of an excuse, I'm not gonna lie. That's an excuse. Internet was just kind of coming around. We had the dial tone. The good old dial tone. If you haven't heard it, look it up. it's one of those things you will never forget, and we will never forget in that generation, at least. But the truth is, I really didn't know how to dream big. I didn't understand the concept of how to, do it with definition. It was all vagueness. And I've had some success. I went from not knowing how to play a lick of music after basketball in high school to became a musician and went out to Phoenix, Arizona and started touring pretty quickly. Like I said, it was maybe at best moderate. We got some radio play from Phoenix to Las Vegas. Did an album, did a lot of touring. A lot of times with no money involved, just broke. So why do I say moderate success? Because to me, it was about the money at the time, but reflecting on it, it was more about the lessons I learned from those times. And I didn't push myself hard enough. I didn't think big enough. I achieved one of the goals was playing the Whiskey A Go Go in California. That's where Metallica played, Van Halen, Motley Crue, Bob Dylan. I mean, anyone that was like anyone had gone to that stage, and to me, that was the icon stage. That was it. Oh, all the arenas I didn't think about. Didn't think about stadiums, arenas. Any of that stuff I didn't even think about. I stopped a Whiskey A Go Go. Why? I didn't even consider thinking bigger. What about you guys? You know, do you find it a challenge to dream and think big, or is it easy? And I'm sure for some people it's easier than others. You know, for me it's been 42 years figuring it out, about to be 43. And I'm just now figuring that out. And it's really interesting how something that seems like this little bit of time or effort is put in, but it's monumental in the shift that it can change our lives. You know, one of the things that I've reread a few times is The One Thing by Gary Keller. And he has his own method about talking about it, talking about looking further down the line and kind of working it back from year to month to week to day, and what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to get to where you want to be in that year time frame. And then, you know, some of it's just the self-development work, the paperwork, literally just pencil to paper, doing the work, getting what's in my head onto paper. And what I finally realized this last week was it's not about, for me, the big concept, the overall, here's where we're going to be and this is what we're going to do. It's more about the process that I had to mentally go through everything, do the checklist, but imagine it. And the best thing I can do is, I had a hard time describing our home, like what home lifestyle I wanted to have. I kept finding it very conflicted because we have some property that is undeveloped. We want to build a home there, but then we were also talking about Italy at some point in our lives. And I kind of stepped back. I was like, Jared, take a step back and don't think about house one in being A or B. Think about house A and house B. So all of a sudden, I went, oh my goodness, I own 2 homes in areas that we want to live at on a regular basis. Basis, little Texan. Little basis, on a regular basis. Oh my goodness. All right, I gotta get past basis. And that was my my heel. I couldn't get past that because I didn't step back to think bigger of owning 2 homes as an ideal. And then once I did that, I said, well, let me focus on the main home, the bigger home, closer to our families, that we can entertain people. Okay, what's that look like? Okay, well, we're driving down the path, and when I make this turn, because you can't see the house from anywhere other than an aerial view, it's completely covered by trees and all this just distance from the road. Okay, I see the stone cladding, I see the metal roofing. And then I thought of an area that I enjoy the most with my wife is like the patio and grilling area and entertaining. And I got really specific on things. And all of a sudden, everything started clicking. It's not necessarily having the idea in its entirety right there. It's the process of working through that to identify those things and then working backwards of, all right, what am I going to do to achieve those things? So that goes back to everything I've been reading, studying. I finally connected the dots. It's the process that's more involved for me. It may not be for other people. Other people may just like, got it, that's where I'm going to go do it. That's a lot of my mindset right now is I've already got it in my head. I just got to do it and then let everyone catch up. But yeah, that's what it was for me. Was just I had to discover there's a process to it, and not just this esoteric thing that I had to try to define in a box. It's defined by what ideas you have, where you want to be, the lifestyle you want to be, who you have to be, and yeah, you do have to get specific. You do have to get specific, otherwise you may not stick with it. And maybe that was my thing with the music, is I achieved the goals, and if I had thought bigger, would I still be doing that? If I had bigger aspirations with the personal training stuff, being working with celebrities, I didn't even think about that. Wasn't even on my radar. But what if I did that? I just didn't think big enough. And this is the first time I feel in my life, at my 40s, I'm starting to learn to daydream and just, man, like this is achievable. If it's something I want, I'm going to put it on my list. So guys, if you've already achieved something through this a process that you have, or a method, please share that. I'd like to hear about it, see if it's something I can incorporate. I'd love to, more than willing to share with others kind of just the journey that I've had to go through to get to where I'm at. And man, we all have journeys. Every one of us have a journey. And it's not a comparison. It's just a journey. But hey, we're here. But I'm curious. I'm really, really curious. And I'm hoping people will kind of comment on this to, you know, I just want to see what people think. So anyway, guys, have a great evening. I really wish you could see more than what's behind me, because it's just gorgeous. But it's what it is. All right, guys. Have a good evening. We'll see you next time.